Hi everyone, this is David and welcome to week one. Let's talk about your activities and your deliverables for this week. Whenever you log in, of course, you're going to be on the course homepage. Go ahead and click on Content and then click on week one if it is not already selected. You'll see an overview in which I outline these activities and deliverables for week one in a written format, as well as a bit of introduction in infographic style to one of the things that we're having to deal with in this course and in our lives, and especially in the workplace. And that is the fact that data never sleeps and that we're constantly bombarded by it. And one of the goals of this course is to suggest to you some ways that you can deal with it when it comes to writing. Okay, let's take our breadcrumb back here to week one and we'll look at the next thing. Notice that it says watch, so you can expect a video. These two videos are about the new literacy. As you're probably aware, we are living in the digital age, the internet age, and as a result of this revolution that we're in, the nature of literacy itself is changing from print literacy to a more visual literacy, from traditional documents to what we call the new literacy documents, which are characterized by shorter paragraphs, shorter sentences, more use of list, both bullet list and ordered list, 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as tables, graphics. Anytime that we can convey information without using sentences, that's what we want to do in the new literacy. So that's a kind of brief thumbnail overview of what you're going to encounter in these two videos. And at the end of the two videos, you are to follow these directions here and post on the related discussion board. And the directions are, after viewing the videos, please participate in the discussion board. Please post at least one substantive follow-up to a classmate. Some things you can think about in responding to that classmate. How does your classmate's response confirm or deny your own experience? What insight did you gain by reading your classmate's response? What other examples can you add that relate to what your classmate wrote about? Just some ideas for how to respond to your classmate other than, hey, good job, which is a way of not responding. So here is that discussion board. If you don't know it already, this is the symbol right here of a discussion board in Leo, or Desire to Learn. Here are the instructions for the discussion board. And by clicking on this link, you are taken to the discussion board. And once you're there on the discussion board, you will see a repetition of the assignment directions. And you will also, sorry, didn't mean to do that. You will also be given a chance to start a new thread. Click on New Thread. Type in your name or the subject or whatever you want to type in and go ahead and post your response. For your convenience, the videos are hyperlinked in the discussion area. So that is the first part of your week one assignments. This week one also contains a submodule. This is a submodule right here. You want to open up that submodule by clicking on the reveal down arrow or chevron, and that reveals this submodule that you need to work in week one. As you can see, all of your directions are laid out for you. Read, 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 respond. So you've got a lot of preparation to do before you actually respond. The first thing that you're going to read is the assignment directions for your paper number one, which is due on, let's see, looks like 2 weeks. So that would be September 4th. And here are the full assignment directions for that paper. This paper again is not due for 2 weeks. And please follow these directions precisely. And I'm also going to be giving you some model papers that did follow the directions precisely so that you can do the same. So this is the final product that is due in 2 weeks. That's what you're shooting for. Let's go back to the submodule. The second thing that you will read is an introduction to Project 1, your communication analysis. This introduction serves as a providing some background material on the idea of communication inhibitors or communication interference, and also suggests some steps for you to follow. But more importantly, I want you to look especially at these student samples right here. These student samples represent part two of your first paper, the communication inhibitors paper, due in 2 weeks. And so your goal this week is to produce this bullet list of definitions. Let's notice the following things about these definitions. First, they are labeled part two. And remember your paper is divided into 4 parts. This week you're going to be doing part two. Each communication inhibitor or barrier is named: audience expectations, competition barriers, connotative meanings of words, faulty level of technicality. But not only is it named, it is also styled differently than the body copy, than the text accompanying it. Here, this student chose to put the names of the communication inhibitors in italics. Let's see what this student did. This student used a different type of bullet. The student had part two but gave it a slightly different subtitle. Here are the names of the communication inhibitors, and notice that they're boldface: personal inhibitors, perceptual inhibitors, nonverbal inhibitors, emotional inhibitors. So please notice those aspects that must be represented in your response. Then comes the definition. Notice the definition is a dictionary type definition. It doesn't refer to your particular workplace. What you're going to do is read a lot about these inhibitors. You're going to come at them from different angles. And after doing that, you're going to formulate in your own words your own textbook or dictionary definition of each inhibitor. Another thing to keep in mind about these lists is that they must be in parallel format. So look here and you'll see that each of the definitions begins with a verb for the student. Audience expectations result when. Competition barriers occur whenever. Connotative meanings of words are the. Faulty level of technology is cause. So notice we have the inhibitor and then a verb. The inhibitor is being used as the subject of a sentence. Contrast that with what student number two does. Personal inhibitors, and then comes a complete sentence. Person not tolerating messages sent or received due to personal bias toward the audience sender or message. Actually, that's like a non-sentence, isn't it? It's like a sentence fragment, but it has a kind of subject and non-finite verb to it. The message misunderstood due to the audience. Person's body language that suggests the sender lacks belief. Person allowing emotion to interfere. So it always begins with a noun followed by a non-finite verb. And the last thing to notice about these definitions is that they tell how the inhibitor works to interfere with the message. Now you are to post these, post your bullet lists to the discussion board after you've done all this reading. Let's take our breadcrumb back to the submodule. You'll notice that you have, looks like 4 PDFs to read. And each of these 4 PDFs discusses different communication inhibitors, certain communication barriers, and provides examples of them. In other words, you're just getting background material. So you read the 4 PDFs and you find the names of the communication inhibitors that you most often observe in your workplace. So again, those are 4 PDFs: 1, 2, 3, 4. And then after you have done all that reading, you follow these instructions. First, review the sample bullet list in Introduction Project 1, which we just did. Next, choose 5 or more communication inhibitors that you read about in the PDS that correspond to ones that you've observed in your workplace or community. Then create a bullet list of those inhibitors and their general definitions. Let's go to the discussion board, and it doesn't look like anybody's posted yet. That's because the class hasn't started. But again, the assignment directions are repeated, and you go ahead and click on Post New Thread. Now, if you want to create your bullet list in Microsoft Word and then import it, you can do that by copying and pasting. You can also take a screenshot of your bullet list and insert that screenshot as a photo or an image. Or you can build the bullet list by creating a table here or typing stuff in and then clicking on bullet list here, also called an unordered list. So there's a number of ways for you to get your table, your bullet list in there. Take our breadcrumbs back, and as you will see, that finishes us up for the week 1. Again, don't forget that your week number 1 does have a submodule in it. First comes these introductory assignments, overview, watch the videos, and please say hello to the new literacy, respond on the discussion board, and then work your submodule, which is unfolded and folded using that chevron there. Okay, I will see you on the discussion boards. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me.